live. Welcome to our daily live feed. Welcome back, you guys. As always, we'll give it a couple minutes for you guys to get logged on. Tonight we're going to review pretty much all the shows from this weekend. We're going to touch on each of the shows at least. We don't have a lot to review on a couple of them because we don't really have photos, but we're still going to touch on them anyway. And as usual, if you'd like to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you have to go. So, we had a bunch of shows this weekend. So the first show I'm going to talk a little bit about is the Lenda Marie in Norfolk. So, we don't yet have pictures from this one, but I did catch the live feed of figure prejudging. Caught a lot of the NPC too because I have NPC girls that were in that show. Our one girl, Angel, she did win the wellness overall, so congratulations to her. But I wanted to just kind of touch on a couple of things having to do with the live feed that I saw with the pro figure girls. So first of all, first call out I think was like 8 girls. It was a big first call out. They turned them quite a bit. They held them on stage quite a bit. And you could see those girls were freaking dropping their poses, getting tired. You know what I mean? So yeah, go Angel, right? Exactly, right? Friends from Cuties Conquering Stage right there. Kelby and Angel became best friends at that event this past January. But anyway, so, one of the things that, like I said, I really noticed was that posing conditioning aspect really it was a toll on some people's physiques in that particular call out. So if you happened to purchase the live stream, I don't know if you still can or not, but I did, and I watched, and I like watching stuff like that. I really notice when girls can't hold their poses, and it really does affect their overall score. It affects how they end up getting placed. Now I do think that was one of the reasons why Ivana ended up in 4th. I think that's one of the reasons. She did mention that she had a hamstring injury. It was either hamstring or quad injury the day before the show. So she was battling with a lot of pain. So I think that probably led to the fact that she couldn't hold her poses as well as I've seen her hold them in the past. So that definitely plays into it for sure. Fighting through an injury while you're trying to pose for what feels like hours on end. It's not hours on end, but it feels like it, is not fun. So that was one thing I did notice. The 2 girls that were in the center for 1st and 2nd, they were ones that were like really battling with that whole posing conditioning thing too. I noticed them reset quite a few times. So this is something we talked about actually. As they were going through, I couldn't help but notice the 2 girls that were in the center were very, very different in their physiques. They had great overall shapes and frames, great balance, that kind of thing. But the girl that came in 2nd had quite a bit more muscle. And the girl that came in 1st was quite a bit smaller, more compact, had a better, in my opinion, had a better flow to her physique, better shape to her physique. The other girl was a lot more muscular. So I was happy to see, let's see, what was her name? And I've seen her before, and I just can't think of her name off the top of my head. Lola. I was happy to see Lola win that show. She was the smaller of the 2. I think that was the right call. I do think she was a little bit less conditioned than the other girls, and I liked that. I think that there is a fine line, like we always talk about. It's hard to go down the middle, it's easy to judge somebody that's bigger, harder, leaner. It's not easy to judge somebody that's down the middle. So I really enjoyed seeing that win for her. And also something we talked about yesterday too was, she was wearing her hair back and in braids. So this is something that I'm seeing a lot, and I really like this too, is the diversity of looks in every division. We're going to talk about this when we get into Republic of Texas. But the diversity of looks has been awesome. I love seeing that. I love seeing girls being able to be themselves on stage and get rewarded for it too. So Julia Waring ended up in 5th, and she also wore braids on stage. I know that was something that she had been contemplating for a while, and she'd asked me about that at the beginning of the season, and I said, yeah, go for it. I think they look beautiful on stage. I thought it looked great on her. So, I think it's important to be able to express yourself on stage, and I think that also leads to confidence on stage, and that's what I saw, and that's why I love seeing what's happening with the evolution of these divisions is, people are actually coming out and being themselves, which I think is fantastic. I don't think everybody has to fit in a specific mold. Like I've told you guys before, like I want to see, as long as you look healthy, everything looks healthy, looks clean, looks put together, I'm good with it. Like I want you to accentuate your self, your frame, your physique, and I want it to all flow together as one total package. And as long as it does that, I want you to express yourself. So I really enjoyed seeing the lineup that we saw and how they actually expressed themselves in this particular lineup, this figure lineup. So if we had more pictures, I'd go into it a little bit more in depth. But all I saw was the live feed, and the live feed was good, but it was a little bit dark, so I couldn't really see the physiques very well. So I don't want to give too much on that. Okay, so moving over into Portugal. Again, we don't have any pictures. I saw a few clips and snippets of the videos. Again, I didn't catch the live stream on that one. But the one thing I wanted to note is that the girl that won the bikini division and got her Olympia qualification won her pro card the day before. It was a pro qualifier. So it was a pro qualifier the day before. If you won your pro card, you were able to compete in the open pro divisions to potentially win your pro card or potentially win your invite to the Olympia. And the girl that won her pro card the day before won her ticket to the Olympia. So nobody saw that one coming, obviously. The couple of girls that we knew were going to be favorites, they were in first call-outs. Nora, I think, ended up in fourth. I don't know where, and again, they don't have this up on, they don't have it up on the, let me see if they got the scorecards up for Portugal. I don't think they do. That the young lady who won her pro card the day before is now going to the Olympia. So in the matter of 2 days, she went from an amateur competitor to an Olympia competitor. That's pretty freaking crazy, right? Like, my head, if I was her, my head would be spinning at the moment, right? Like, what the hell just happened? I think I saw her make a post where she said that. She said, what the fuck just happened? Like, what happened? So anyway, I thought that was pretty cool. I thought it was awesome to see that too. Like, you know, a lot of times you think you have to pay your dues and stuff like that in the pro league. And, you know, it just, if you're the best one that shows up that day, you're the best one that shows up that day. Bottom line. And that was what she was. You know, there was a few Olympians in that lineup that day, and they didn't qualify. She did. So show up, bring it. If you bring it, you're going to get the qualification. Bottom line. Okay, so that was fun. So then we're going to move over to Battle of the Desert. And I'm going to talk about the top 5 in the Battle of the Desert. This is another one who went from like a pro amateur just a couple of months ago to now she's Olympia qualified. So that was Ariel. We talked about her in the preview, thinking that she could potentially be in that top 5, a potential win here for her, and she did get the win. But we're going to start out with, we're going to do the top 5 here. So we're going to start out with Kaylee. So Kaylee was just in Omaha last week, and I think she placed 5th there too, or 6th. I think she placed 6th. She placed 6th in Omaha. So she placed 5th. She went up 1 spot. You know, one of the things that I'd mentioned about Omaha is I wanted to see a little bit more pop to her makeup, which I felt like her makeup was better at this show. She had a little bit more pop to her makeup at this show, so I did like that. Her front pose looks good, except that her hand is really up high, and it makes it, let me see if I pull up one of these pictures. Yeah, it's just too high, so her back shoulder just pops way too high up. I'd like to see her just relax that down. If she could do that, that front pose would be a lot better. You know, I tell you guys all the time with your hand placement on your waist that the hand should be belly button or below. Like, it shouldn't be above the belly button, and she's above the belly button. So I'd like to see her just slide that down like 2 inches, and I think she'd be good in that front pose. And then if you look at the back pose, she's a little bit washed out through her hamstrings, her hamstring tie-ins and her glutes. Again, really nice balance, but because she's a little bit soft through there, I think that's what knocked her down a little bit. I think if she could have tightened that up a little, then she probably would have moved up a couple spots. Last week, I do remember she was also kind of flat through the glutes. So I think she tried to fill out here, which would make sense. Looks like she tried to fill out. And in the process, she got a little soft. So have to find a good balance there. But she's got a really nice X-frame from the back. And I'd like to see her brush through her curls too. Her curls were a little bit tight, which is a little bit messy looking. But I think she did those curls like that so that her hair was up above her bikini bottom. So that was a good call. I mean, she wants to have her hair up above that bikini bottom. That's good. I just would like to see this a little bit less like ringlet-y. It looks very ringlets. So just brush it, finger brush it through if you have to. That's something I do with the girls when they leave my chair in the morning. If I do your hair and makeup for the show, When you leave my chair, your hair is going to be like this. Your hair's going to look like this, because typically you have to wait quite a long time throughout the day before you go on stage. So I don't want the curls to completely fall out. But I tell every one of you guys, when you get out of my chair, like, at least finger brush it, if not fully brush it, right? Have a brush. Make sure you break those curls up just so they look a little bit looser. She probably just needs to just trim off a couple of inches, and then she could brush that hair out a little bit for her, and she'd be all right. But the X-frame for the back is really nice. Like I said, she's got a really nice X-frame front and back. Just has to get those little tiny details fixed, and she'll be all right. I like the suit on her too. The suit color's pretty, and I liked the makeup this week in comparison to last week. Last week's was a little bit muted. This was a lot better. Had a little bit more pop to it. Let's see. We're gonna go to 4th, which is Sierra. So Sierra was 7th. She was 7th in Omaha, so she did move up. Let me pull her up a little bit here. She got a little bit tighter through the waistline, so that's good. You know, last week she was a little bit blown out to the waistline. The waistline's tighter here. Again, I do like this suit on her. I think that's a better call for her. The tan looks nice. Again, figured out the tan situation. Let me take a look at her back pose. Let's see. I think this is close. Back pose is packed. Her glutes look really good. I think I'd like to see her legs come a little bit further apart. Right now they're just a little bit closer than shoulder width. If she goes to shoulder width, I think that would be a better look on her. Because right now she just has a wider back than she does on the bottom. So I think if she went out maybe an inch or so on her feet, I think that would be a better balance. Again, you got to be with her. I know she's got to be careful with the glutes and keep the glutes full. Her glutes look nice and full here, so I'd just like to see her feet maybe open up an inch or so, and that would probably be really good right there. Her hair is a little bit shorter now, so it's up above her up above her suit, which is great. We want to see that. Perfect. That's what we want. Let's see. I'd like to see a little bit more glam on her makeup too. It's not bad, but I'd like to see maybe some more depth to her eyeshadow, or maybe a little bit more pigment on her lips, something like that. Just pop that a little bit, like I mentioned with Kaylee. I wanted to see a little bit more pop to her makeup, a little bit more pop here, a little more pop to the makeup. But overall, this is a good package. She brought it in a little bit tighter than what she was in Omaha, so I think she's like right on that cusp. I think this is pretty close to probably the best I've seen her look. Just have to, again, keep making these fine-tuning tweaks as we go along here. So good job on that. Moved up a couple spots, got herself some more Olympia points. Let's see, Vanya. Miss Vanya here's in 3rd. So let's pull up her front pose. I actually like this look on her better, I think, than last week. Let me look at her back pose. Let's see. Yeah, I think from the front she's better this week. From the back she might be a little bit soft this week. I'm sorry, did I say that right? This week she was better from the front. From the back she might be a little bit soft in comparison to last week. I remember last week the pictures were really hard to see what was really going on because they were really dark, so I could be wrong on this. I think she's better balanced overall from front to back this week. I think she might have been a little bit tighter last week from the back, maybe. I say that with a big maybe because, again, the pictures from the muscle contest show were very dark, so it's kind of hard to tell the difference between the two shows. Blame it on Mother Nature. Oh, okay. So, okay, I'm right. It's not just the pictures. Got it. All right. Yeah, I know, right? There's only so much you can do when that kind of thing happens sometimes. And that little bit of extra water, it makes a difference at this level. It does, you know what I mean? So that's what it looks like to me, but I wasn't sure. Again, it could have been an issue between the two different photos, the different shows. But again, from the front, I do think this is a better look this week from the front than last week. So gotta find that balance. All the things we have to deal with, and guys don't have to deal with this stuff, you know, like they don't have times of the month. Technically they say science says that men do PMS, but they don't have to deal with water retention like we do. So there's that. But yeah, so again, it's pretty close. It's a pretty close look to last week, but it's just a little bit of film and water. So I do see that. Okay. Glad you're on here to let us know that too. That was Vanya saying that, by the way, you guys. She's here on the live stream. So glad that you're here to clarify that too. So yeah, guys don't even wear shoes. Yeah, the guys don't wear shoes. They don't wear makeup. They don't have to get their hair done. Some of them get their makeup done. I've done makeup for guys at shows. You know, they don't have to get blinged out suits. They don't have to do any of that stuff, man. They have it easy. They have it really easy in comparison to us. Oh gosh. All right, moving on to Jessica Dolius. So Jessica did not place last week in the top, but this week she did. She moved up to second here. Let me pull up her pictures. You know, I'm going to be honest with you on this one. I don't like this front pose. She was doing a different front pose at the earlier on in the season where she was opening up more. Maybe she was getting critiques that she had to close her upper body off a little. But for me, this feels like it's too much because I can't see her glutes. I think it really diminishes her shoulder quite a bit. So, you know, I'd like to see her pull that out a little. She doesn't have to go way out, but just a little bit of an adjustment so that we can pull that upper body out. Because I think what this does, not only does it hide her glutes, but it also makes her waistline look thicker than it actually is. She's got a tiny waistline, and I know I've seen that really tiny in shows earlier this year. So I'd like to see her open that back up again. I'm assuming she must have gotten feedback that said something to the effect of she needed to pull her upper body down or something. Maybe they thought she was a little bit too wide. I don't know. I'm just saying, like, I think that this has to have come from a piece of feedback, because I don't remember her posing like this earlier in the year. So this has to be something that she had gotten at feedback. Now, she took second, so it's not like this is bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just like her open a little bit more. I'm wondering if I can pull her up. Let me see. I'm going to try and find it because I know she competed. Let me see if I can pull her up really quickly and find another show. Jessica Dolius. I think she did Girl Power. Let me see if I can pull her pictures up from that show. Yeah, she did do Girl Power. Oh my God, I never quite thought about how fewer things guys have to think about. Mother Nature, heels, jewelry, makeup. I know, right? For real. Okay, so there's some pictures from New York Pro from a couple of years ago. This is Girl Power right here. Let me pull this up. Let me see what her front pose looked like here. Yeah, she was more open at Girl Power. She was more open. I like that better. I think that flatters her frame a little bit better. I mean, I'd like to see kind of a mix between this pose that she has here at Girl Power and what she did at Battle in the Desert. I think if she got a combination of the two, then I think she'd be right on, because she's more forward stance here. So I think I like the. Sorry, I should have done this beforehand, and then I would have had it ready for you guys. But yeah, she's more sideways with her lower body at Battle of the Desert, but she's more frontwards on her upper body at Girl Power. So if she could take the lower body here at Battle of the Desert and pair it with the upper body from Girl Power, I think that's her pose. I think that's her pose right there. So that would be my 2 cents. I'd like to see her open that upper body back up. And it probably what it is because she went more sideways here, it's probably more difficult for her to open up on the upper half, I'm guessing. She probably thinks she's as open, but it just needs to come open a little bit more. Queen Day Raja's here. She is just logged on. Yes, we're getting to that show after this one. We're almost there. But yeah, so I just like to see her open up a little bit more in that front pose. So that was a long explanation for I like to see her open up more in that front pose. Yeah, take the bottom half from Battle in the Desert and top half from Girl Power, and then she'd be good to go. So here's Jessica in her back pose. Back pose looks good. She's one I'd like to see a little bit more hair on her back. She could stand maybe an inch of length, maybe an inch, but a little bit more fullness. What's up, Deraja? We're getting to your show next. But yeah, I'd like to see like just a little bit more fullness in her hair in the back. If she did, again, if and we're talking about Jessica Dolius still, so if she did a little bit, like an extra inch of hair there, and just a little bit more fullness there, I think that would be a good look for her. Because the back pose is good. I wouldn't change anything else about that. I would just change the fullness of the hair. So that's my 2 cents on that. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to. Okay, I'm reading your comment there, Wendy. Okay, now we're at Ariel. So this is a girl that just turned pro this year. She turned pro at, was it Junior Nationals? There's Junior Nationals, right? Where she turned pro. She got a pro card there. Beautiful girl. We talked about this girl in our preview because she did place top 5 last week at her pro debut. I think she was third. She was third there. Yes, she was third there. So she moved up to first here. Gorgeous girl. Beautiful package top to bottom. Front pose is right on. Front pose is right on. I wouldn't change a thing about it. Conditioning is right on. Everything. Right there. Makeup is gorgeous. This is a great makeup look. This is a makeup look where it pops, but it's not too much. It's not over the top. Same thing with her hair. Her hair is off of her face, so you can see her beautiful face. Those curls are nice and controlled. I love this look. This is a very polished, beautiful look. Looks like she's been on the pro stage for a long time. Girls, if you're looking for a polished look in the front, this is her right here. Polished look right there. And she's really well balanced from top to bottom right here too. Yes, my girl. Yes, yes. So this is, again, the suit color's perfect. The suit cut's great on her, all of that. So she did a great job with that. So let's take a look at her back shot. Let's find it. Okay, there we go. So I feel like she has a little bit more pop here than she did last week. Last week I thought she was a little bit soft. I don't see the softness here. I see a pop here. So whatever she did in the last week, that was the right thing for her glutes. I would like to see her hair come in just a little bit on her shoulders. We can still see the delts, but they're a little bit covered. So maybe just bring that hair in or just trim it a little bit near the delts a little, and then we can see them a little bit better. That would help with her X-frame. But overall, the shape of the hair is really nice because what it does is it takes your eye from the small of her back out to her shoulders. So the shape is very, very nice. I would just like to see maybe like an inch or so off so we can see more of that delt on the outside. But that's just those 2 layers on the outer side. I think the rest of it is shaped really, really well. She does look like she has, thicker legs, but she's posing to get rid of that, if that makes sense. She's posing to make her glutes pop versus her legs, which is really important. This happens to a lot of girls, and if you have, thicker legs, you've got to understand how to manipulate that so your glutes pop versus the legs. And she did a very good job here. It almost looks like she's pushing inward a little bit. I don't know if she is or not, but it looks like it, but it was the right call on this pose. It was the right thing for her to do because, again, it's making my eye go to her glutes versus her legs. So it's all about, again, knowing your poses, knowing your angles, knowing what looks best on you, right? And not everybody's going to be able to get away with a pose like this, right? She can because of her frame. She gets away with it really, really well. And again, another thing to look at too, skin tone is flawless. I think that's across the board in these top 5 girls I've been talking about at this particular show. The tanning is perfect. Tanning is perfect for each one of them. So that's really important. That's really, really important. Make sure that your tan is on point. If we can't see your body through your tan, that's a problem, right? So that, like this, again, this is a very polished look. Even though it's only her second pro show, it looks like she's been doing this for a long period of time, right? So really good job on that. Really good job. All right. So that's that show. Happy with the results. I think it was very good. Very, very good. Let's get back here and go to Republic of Texas. And for Bikini on this show, we're going to start with top 6 because Alejandra, who is here with us, was 6th. So we're going to pull up Alejandra. She is one of our girls, so obviously I am going to always shout her out. If you're one of my clients, you get all of the love. Just, I am biased. It is what it is. So with Alejandra, I think that this show was a little bit better as far as her conditioning is concerned than last week. One of the biggest critiques, or the critique that she got last week, was that she was too hard, and she definitely softened up for this show. Let me look at, and the other thing is that these shots, these pictures are a little bit light, but when I look at it, I can see that like last week, it was almost like her muscle was like popping through the skin kind of thing. And I don't see that here, which is good. That's a good thing. She softened up just a touch, which is what was needed. Front pose looks really nice here. And again, Alejandra, I know one of the biggest things I told you was getting that hair out of your face. You did a good job of that, getting the hair out of your face. That was a great thing. I actually gave her another piece of feedback as well yesterday, and that was to get some extensions to fill out her hair from the back, because I know her hair has a hard time with holding curls. So, you know, let's get some extensions in there, fill that out in the back, and get some more volume. She doesn't need any more length. She's good on the length. Just needs a little bit more thickness, and that will help with the overall style too. That'll help hold the style for her as well. And that's just going to overall give you more of a healthy look on stage. You know, when I went back to what we were talking about with the Norfolk show with figure, as long as you have a healthy look on stage, I'm good with whatever you do. So adding a little bit more fullness to your hair makes you look younger, more youthful. It adds more fullness, it adds more bounce, it adds more health to your overall look. So adding just a little bit more fullness there, I think, is going to really benefit her just overall with this particular look with her hair. Because I know the extensions are on the way. Awesome. Because I know that, especially for you, I know that the hair is a stress point for you. So that's the other thing as well. If your hair is something that stresses you out on show day, you got to figure out a solution, right? So I know that she has a hard time with getting the style to hold and all those kinds of things. So let's find a solution so that we can take that piece of stress off of your plate. Sometimes it's more about that than it is the look itself. Sometimes just about making sure that you don't have to stress about it, because stress leads to water retention and cortisol spiking, right? So let's get rid of that stressing piece, right? Alejandra, you looked amazing. Love the red on you this year. Spicy. Yes, the red looks great on her. So that's going to be the next change that we put into play for here. Something else too is Alejandra, I want to work with you on your back pose. We are a little bit too hard in those glutes, so we just have to figure out the right balance on that back pose for you. I think the placement of your feet is good and everything, but I think we're just a little bit too hard in that position. So we need to soften that up and let the glutes pop a little bit more for you. And then we'll be good to go there as well. I think overall, again, you know, when you're placing like this and you're consistently getting up into that first call out, these are just tiny little details that we gotta keep paying attention to and keep getting better on. If you notice, like whenever I talk about any of these girls, it's just teeny tiny little things that we need to just focus on and make sure that we bring an even better and more polished package the next time, right? So we're getting there with softening up and things like that. Now we just got to work on a few presentation details and we'll be good to go. We tried something new with the back pose last minute, going back to the old one. Good. Yeah, this was just a little bit too hard. Again, it looks like they were just I'm a little bit squared off. So relaxing them just a touch is going to help them to fill out and round out for you. So that'll be a good adjustment for you. Once we get the hair done for you, then I think that'll bring that look together a little bit more polished for you as well. So overall, I think this was a step in the right direction though, physique wise and everything too. So now it's just about getting better next time. Just a little bit better, a little bit better, a little bit better. Staying consistent, staying in that first call out. That's what we want. We want to stay up there. We want to keep getting noticed. We want to keep getting better, right? All right, so let's move on to 5th place, which is Miss Jasmine Gonzalez. So again, going back to the diversity of looks, this hair is hers. It's all natural hair here for her. So, you know, again, I started talking about this when we were talking about figure over in Norfolk. This is something that Jasmine has been working on since last year. She's wanted to wear her natural hair on stage, but she's had to keep really take good care of it, figure out how to style it well for show day, all those kinds of things. That's actually something for like 2 weeks. She and I went back and forth with like curl ideas and things like that, and finally got it. I was like, this is the look right here. We got this. So it looked really nice on stage. I really love this whole look on her. I think this is her. I think this is her look. I think this is something that she has wanted to bring to stage for a very long time. So I was very happy with that, and happy for her with that too. her routine was amped up a little bit this show, which I did like that too. Had a little bit more spice to it. Was a little bit faster paced, which I did like. All of those things. Looked more confident. She's another one that has issues with the whole time of the month thing. So she was just a little bit full through those legs, a little bit of film of water. It is what it is. That's what happens when those hormones hit. So we just gotta wait for it to dissipate. That's about all you can do, right? Fucking A, 3 weeks of different styling methods and over $300 of products later, I finally nailed it, right? Hey, that was my hair today. If y'all been following my stories, I'm back to pink now, but oh my God, I was blue last night. Literally this time last night, my hair was blue. So trust me, I understand. That's why my hands are fuchsia right now. So trust me, I get it. I understand. Her hair was gorgeous, even sassier. Yes. Why don't I do that sometimes? Let me get that. I hit the button and it goes up or whatever. Hold on. I think you're amazing. Also love, Alejandra, I think you're amazing. Also love Jazzy's natural hair. Yes, I commented the girls that wear their natural curls on stage. Not easy to style. And oh my gosh, those products plus water plus tan equals stress. Absolutely. Sure does. There's the, oh, thank you, Evelyn, for you. I'm trying to get this comment bar to go away. There we go. Okay, awesome. Okay. So yeah, so this was an improved look for Jasmine overall. I think her shape was better overall. Just got to get rid of that little film on the lower half with the womanly hormones. You know, I know one of the things that Jasmine really worked on over this off season for her too was really nailing that back pose evenly. Let me get to a back shot. So especially when you're talking about wearing a shorter hairstyle, you have to be even on that back pose with your shoulders, with your back, with your glutes. You can't hide anything because you got no hair back there to hide it. So you better have your posing on point, and you better be doing body work, and you better be making sure that you are getting yourself developed evenly. We talk about this a lot when it comes to posing. Make sure you're posing on both sides. Make sure you're going and getting regular body work. It makes a difference. And if you look at Jasmine's back pose here, she is almost perfect from side to side. That's very, very hard to do. Symmetrical wise, that's very, very hard to do. So this was, when I saw these shots, I was very, very happy to see this because she nailed it on that. And I know that was something she's been working on. So really, really good job with that. So I look forward to seeing her tighten up a little bit this week going into Chicago. But still, you know, we talked about this too. You know, Jasmine's very open about her issues that she has with her hormones and stuff like that. And this was a really good way of her managing what happened this week, and getting a great placing out of it. You know, yes, Jasmine, love you, and I know you're gonna. I know that this show created a data point for you as well. We talk about this too. You know, when stuff goes wrong and it's out of our control, you can't control ovulation, you can't control your period, you can't control PMS, you can't control those things. That's your body, that's hormones. When those things are out of your control, the best thing that you can do is get data, collect data, you know, write down exactly what you did in order to manage it. And I can tell you from knowing from past experiences for Jasmine in the last couple of years, this was the best that she's been able to manage this situation. Still look fantastic, still get into that top 5, still get some Olympia points out of it. So really good job right there. Yes, fantastic job, yes. So we're gonna move on now to 4th place, which was Carla. So Carla, we mentioned her last week as a potential top 5, and she was outside the top 5 there, but she came back and made some adjustments, and now she placed 4th. So I like this suit on her better than the one that she wore last week. I think this just looks better on her skin tone. I think it pops her a little bit better. The lighter colors are hard to pull off. And I think she had a light blue the last show that she was in. What was it? It was a Texas show, wasn't it? I don't remember what show it was. What show was that? Somebody tell me which show it was. I can't remember, but it was a light blue suit, and I think this suit just looks better on her skin tone. So I do like that. It was the muscle contest. It was the one that I mentioned that the pictures were really tough to judge because the pictures were really dark. So again, going back to this, I can't say a whole lot of definitive stuff because same thing I said with Vanya. the pictures from that show were not the best. So Patriots, yes, Patriots. So so from what I saw from the pictures from Patriots, I think she filled out in the glutes here. I feel like she filled out in the glutes here based on what I think I saw from Patriots. And I put that big asterisk there because, again, those pictures were so dark. I couldn't really tell what was going on with that show. That's why I didn't review that show, because I just didn't feel comfortable saying anything because the pictures were so dark. I just didn't have good data points to talk about, right? So I think she's a little bit more filled out here, which gives her a much better look front to back. She's got a tight little waistline from the front. I think from the front she has a tendency to look really good all the time, and then it's if she gets full enough in the back that makes a difference in her placing. So I do think this was a better look than Patriots from what I saw from the photos. So good job on that. Again, very nice clean look with the hair and makeup and all of that. Pops really nicely. All of those things matter. Those things make a difference. Did a good job there. Really good polish. Let's see. Going back to, what did I hit? Oh, Cristobelina. Okay, so we talked about Cristobelina last week too. She did Omaha. And she was lean enough, but she was not full enough, right? She filled out for this show. I was really happy to see her change. She probably changed the most in the back-to-back weeks of everybody. She, again, was one that I mentioned last week. She's never outside the top 5, and she was last week. This week, she got back up into the top 5, and she ended up placing 3rd. When she got into that front pose, she hit it much better. She still needs to tweak it. It's still not perfect. It's still not quite there. She needs to relax that arm. Both of her arms, really. The arm that's on her waistline needs to come down a little bit, like I mentioned with Kaylee. Needs to come down below her belly button. And the outside arm needs to just relax down. What I tell girls to do a lot of times with this, I think what she's afraid of is she's afraid of blocking her glutes. Like we talked about with Jessica Dolius. We were afraid that Jessica Dolius was, she's blocking her glutes. We don't want that to happen. So let the arm relax down, take the hand and twist the hand out, the thumb outward. If you just twist the thumb outward and away from your body, right now she's got it straight forward. So she just needs to twist it out. If you straighten the arm, twist the thumb out, that's going to get the arm away from the glute while relaxing the arm down. So that will give her the best of both worlds. Then this front pose is 1,000 times better than what she did last week. Really, really good job on fixing that. Let's see, where's her back pose at? Sorry, this is a long one, you guys. We had a lot of shows to go over. Could you imagine if we had pictures from Portugal and stuff too? We would be here for 2 hours. My goodness. Okay, so let's see. Okay, back pose. Much better on this back pose. She stood up. That was one of the things I mentioned from Omaha. She was bent over too much. Here, she stood up. Nice and full and round glutes. Like I said, from Omaha, I knew she had better glutes than what she was showing. This shows them off. It's a big, it's an obvious difference when you put the two next to each other. Again, she filled out her physique a little bit, and she stood up a little bit taller in this pose. I would like to see her elbows come in a little bit. If she can bring her elbows in and drop down her arms just a touch, that'll fill her shoulders out a little bit more, but much, much better from the back. This is a really good back shot. Her hair is nice and clean and brushed out. This is what I was talking about with the curls and the hair. Looks like she went through and brushed it out, which looks nice and clean, nice and put together, nice and polished. This is perfect. So big improvement on her presentation from last week. Big improvement here. So really good job on that. Let's see. Almost there. This was the shock of the show, which was 2nd place, and that was Erin Stern. You guys, when I saw her in that first call out, I was like, who the heck is that? I'm like, oh my God. I was so impressed. I was so impressed with Erin Stern at this show. She's an X-figure Olympia winner. You know what I mean? So she has a fantastic physique to begin with. She has been an athlete her whole life. She is 41 years old. So the fact that she's standing up there and getting this close to an Olympia qualification is ridiculous. And just the things that she did right here. Okay, so she streamlined her physique a ton. I mean, a ton. I mean, I just saw her on stage at Girl Power was the last time I saw her on stage. She did compete at New York Pro, I believe, too. But I saw her on stage at Girl Power. And this was a completely different Erin here at this show than what I saw at Girl Power. Like, completely different. Bikini Pro of the weekend, right? Exactly. So she completely streamlined her physique. Now, one thing I've given her credit for over the course of her coming back to bikini is every time she's gotten on stage, her presentation has gotten better and better and better and better every time she's gotten on stage. So again, her presentation got better this show. Her posing is great. I mean, like, again, comeback of the century right here, you guys. Like, seriously, comeback of the century, man. You know, she's seriously such an amazing human being, too. Love being able to get to know her more this weekend. That's awesome. She's super sweet, super nice. She will take pictures with everybody. She will talk to anybody. She's a really, really, again, great ambassador of the sport. That's what Miss Olympia is right there, right? She is so awesome inside and out, super approachable and humble. We were talking forever in the lineup. That's awesome. So yeah, I was really, really impressed. Front pose looks great. Hair and makeup looks great. She had a tendency, a few shows this past couple of years to come in too like contrasty. Like her face was really white and her hair was really black. And that ages you when you do that kind of thing. She did a nice warm look right here with her makeup and her hair. Looked so much better. So much better. Let me see. I'm going to pull her. So while we're talking about presentation aspects, I mean, she just really balanced her front pose so nicely. But also, I want to mention the pink suit. If you ladies work with me and you are over the age of 35, you know I tell you I want you in bright colors. I want you in the brightest, most vivid colors that we can put you in. I don't want you in dark colors. Because bright colors make you look more youthful and vibrant. That's what she did here. In the past shows, she's been wearing dark blues and dark purples and things like that. And that's okay if you're younger. But as you get older, going more bright is helpful. It makes you look more vibrant and youthful. And that's what she did here with this pink. And it so worked for her. It so worked for her. Love the pink suit on her. Yes, absolutely. Congratulations, Jazzy and Alejandra. Yes, I met her early in the day and she was so freaking nice and encouraging. Like, I mean, she really took some time to chat with me and I wanted to take a pic and she said, let's move to the good light. I love it. I love it. That's somebody who knows her angles and knows her lighting, right? I loved this pink suit on her. I think that was a fantastic call. I really think that made a huge difference in her overall look. Huge. Love the pink. She should never change. And let's see, let me get to her back pose. I haven't gotten to her back pose yet. There we go. Okay, so yes, so back pose was executed really, really well for her. Again, you have to remember this girl comes from being a figure Olympia champion, okay? This girl's got lats. This girl's got spread in her back. She has width. She diminished it here. And that was smart. That was really smart. You know, we talk about this all the time. Most people, this particular back pose, I would say it's pushed together too much. But for her, it's not. Because we know she can open up. We know she's got a lat spread back there. So the fact that she pulled it in a little bit tighter actually worked in her favor. Again, going back to the concept of you have to pose for your frame. Have to pose for your frame. And that's what she did here with this back pose. And then, again, the lower half, she just streamlined so much in the lower half. She had fantastic pop to her glutes. You know, like, she has definitely made the full transition from figure into bikini now. And, yeah, this was the excitement of the weekend for sure right here. Like, just seeing her come back with this particular look. And, again, she's one that her hair's not super long, but it's nice and full. It's nice and healthy looking. That's what we're looking for. We're looking for that. And it has that nice V taper into her lower back. She has a teeny tiny waistline from the back. Where her hair hits on her back accentuates that even more. So she did a fantastic job with this overall presentation, this overall look. This is a Figure Olympia winner, and she knows what details mean. So she did a fantastic job here. All right. And we are up to our winner, which is Deraja. And she may still be on here. I don't know. She was on here earlier. But yeah, when I was watching Dayraja on stage, you kind of couldn't not watch her. Like, she has that presence thing going on, you know what I mean, regardless. But her shape, she's massively improved her shape. I know she's been working on feedback that she's gotten over the last few shows, that kind of thing. But top to bottom, she was just a lot more streamlined. I think that she had gotten feedback in the past that her back was getting a little bit too wide, so she fixed that. Pose was perfect as far as where she's standing in her front pose. It shows a nice taper into her waistline, but doesn't make her look like she's super wide across the back. That suit color was perfect on her skin. You know, just the pop under the lights for that suit was great. It was fantastic on her. Congratulations to Raja, Queen DJ. I love her. Yeah, she has that presence thing even when she's not on stage, for real. Yeah, she does. Absolutely. She's one of those girls you have to look at when you see her. And like, again, I know she's a small girl, but when you see her on stage, she doesn't look small. You know what I mean? She doesn't look short. She looks statuesque. And that's what you want. You know, you want to look like you just take over the stage, right? And that's what she did here. Again, really nice tweaks to that front pose. Looks a lot more streamlined, a lot more balanced. Did a very good job on that. Then when we get to the back, I like the hair look on her too. She switched up the hair look. And again, she's one, so we were talking about with Ariel, right? With Ariel, where she needs to bring the back of it in just a little bit, so it shows a little bit more of her delts. Dayraja has that. So Jess, if you're still on here and you go talk to Ariel, tell her to look at Dayraja's hair. That's what Ariel needs to do with hers, and that'll be perfect. Like that perfect V right in. You see that those nice round capped delts, and it's not covering any of it, and that accentuates that V into that waistline. And again, she doesn't look overpowering in her back. I'm not looking at the width of her back. I'm looking at the pop of her delts on the outside. That's what you want to see in bikini. You don't need to necessarily see a big, huge lat spread. We want to see some roundness to those delts on the outside. Great job. And one thing I noticed between her and Erin on the live feeds and live streams is that Dayraja just had a little bit more pop to her glutes than Erin did. I think Erin was still just a touch too hard, just a touch. Needs to pop a little bit more. And I mean, I'm stressing like a little bit more. And Dayraja had that little bit more of that pop. And I think that's what put her over the edge when it came to between her and Erin. For real, there you go. But yeah, this was probably, I'm trying to think if I can think of a look that was better on Dayraja than this particular one, and I don't think I can. I think this was her best balanced look that I've seen across the board, and I was there when she won a pro card. So, you know, I've seen her on stage, I don't even know, at least a dozen times. Something like that, something ridiculous like that. But yeah, this was a well-deserved win for her. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, she does her own makeup, if that's correct. And she does a great job. She does a great job of doing her own makeup. Again, she has just enough pop to it. That's something, if you want to venture into that, you know, again, this is somebody you can take notes from when it comes to doing your own makeup. She did a really good job. She's got that dark lip, but she does a soft eye with it, so it's not overpowering, right? Take that as a note. If you're gonna do a bold eye, make sure that you do a soft lip. If you're gonna do a bold lip, make sure you do a soft eye, vice versa, right? So she has a beautiful look with the makeup. So yeah. So I mean, this was a really competitive show, So, and I've been talking for almost an hour now. This was a long one. I want to leave it open for like 2 minutes because otherwise I'll get cut off, and I will need to upload this. If I get cut off, I can't upload it. So I want to leave it open for 2 minutes till we hit 9:10, and then I'm gonna close it down and repost it. But you know, really beautiful looks overall from all of the top 5 girls this weekend in all of the shows. So yeah, girls are stepping their game up, man. I'm glad I finally got to join. Yes, absolutely. And I still have a ton of work to get done tonight. I've got to do hair and makeup schedules for Masters Nationals because we're off to Masters Nationals on Thursday. So, yep. So it was a good weekend, and we got another one coming up. Any questions, you guys? Again, I'm gonna leave it open for 2 minutes, and then I'm gonna shut it down because if I don't, we're gonna lose the whole stream. Any questions, you guys? Thank you for the review. Such great info. Well, thank you guys for participating too. That's what makes this fun. You know, I like when I get questions coming in. I like when I get you girls getting on here. And like I said, with Vanya on here, you know, I see things, but I don't necessarily know what's going on. So having Vanya be able to say, yeah, this is what happened. Fantastic. Wonderful. Love that. So that was a great show to be a part of. Love seeing Jazzy. Yes. It was a fantastic setup. Like watching the live streams and stuff. I mean, it was a beautiful stage. Beautiful stage. They did a great job. So it seemed like it was a lot of energy, high energy, and all of that too. It was fantastic. So thank you. Glad I could join live. Yes, glad you could join live too. And like I said, this is a conversation. So I encourage you guys to ask questions. I encourage you guys to comment. You know, shout out the girls that you love too, because like I said, a lot of them were on here tonight. Jasmine was on here, Alejandra was on here, De Raja was on here, Vanya was on here. You know, Jess was on here. So guys, like these ladies jump on and they participate in everything too. So feel free to shout them out. You know. I had so much fun as an NPC competitor. They did a great job all around for all of the athletes. Awesome. I love hearing that. I love hearing when girls have a great experience too. That's a big thing, you guys. Great experience. Yes, absolutely. And we are at 9:10. So I'm going to go ahead and shut this down so we don't lose this whole live feed. Thank you guys for joining me. Congrats, ladies. Love seeing all of the updates and joining live when I can. Yeah, we love having you. All right, I got to shut this down or we're going to lose it. All right. So if you want to come work with me, suitsandposing.com is where you got to go. And that's it. That's all I got for you guys tonight. We'll be back again tomorrow with another live feed and we got a fun week ahead. Yay. Good night, you guys.